Hello, dear friends. I try to carry a good spiritual message rather than economic message every day, but I am not always lucky enough to find it, although quality messages abound lately. Opinion piece. Creator decrees freedom. Freedom comes from love. Live life from the heart. It enables you to achieve greatness. The heart is the seat of the soul. The cleansing of the darkness will follow. There will be change, but not devastation. Cleansing must not be catastrophic. Dark side has violated cosmic law. All financial systems will change. There will be many changes in governments. Politics will be based on honor and integrity. This system cannot withstand the coming of the light. The dark will not be able to coexist with the light in power. Do not expect any miraculous overnight achievement. The basis of commerce will be cooperation and mutual aid. Money will not be necessary because there will be an abundance of everything. Many repair efforts are needed all over the planet. All negativity will diminish as its source is eliminated. The effects of this reduction can be achieved in a few short years. Darkness is losing its free will, but not the individual. Not everyone decided their karmic apprenticeship under conditions of poverty. Let's start. The Creator has decreed that the free will of dark forces will no longer be allowed to override the free will decisions of light beings. The deliberate destructiveness of the dark that has prevailed through the gift of a free will is coming to an end, according to the latest updated message from Matthew Ward through his mother Susan Ward. The Creator's decree is not because the forces of light are dimmer or weaker than the forces of darkness. The light will always ultimately be stronger, and the light will prevail completely. The individuality of each being of light is always held sacred and inviolate, with the free will decisions of each soul recorded and honored separately. Definition. Freedom is the state or condition of one who is not enslaved or imprisoned. It is the natural faculty that the human being has to act in one way or another, or not to act, so he is responsible for his actions. In truly democratic systems, freedom is a right of superior value that ensures the self-determination of human beings. Freedom is also the ease or natural disposition to do something skillfully. Freedom of expression is the right to freely express and disseminate ideas, opinions, or information. Freedom of spirit is the dominion of the mind over the passions. In Spanish, the word libertad comes from the Latin libertas, which has the same meaning. The English word for liberty, freedom, comes from an Indo-European root meaning to love. The same language word to fear for fear. A threat comes from the same root, used as a contraposition to liberty, by means of the prefix a, and the influence of vulgar Latin. Freedom as a disappearance of oppression means neither waiting to subjugate, not to be subjugated, and implies the end of a state of servitude. The achievement of this form of freedom depends on a combination of the resistance of the individual or group and its environment. Philosophical ethics points out that freedom is inherent to the human being. It is a fundamental original datum from human existence, based on self-consciousness and moral responsibility. Therefore, the human individual cannot refer his own freedom and responsibility to any other, and for this reason, freedom in its anthropological sense, is something that cannot be eliminated or contradicted. Freedom is situated in the interiority of being, and Ricardo Yepes Stork affirms that it is one of the defining notes of the human being. It allows him to reach his greatness, but also his greatest degradation. It is perhaps his most valuable gift because it permeates and defines all his actions. The human being is free from the deepest depths. That is why modern human beings have identified the exercise of freedom with the realization of being. It is a right and an ideal that we cannot and do not want to renounce. It's not conceivable, but to be truly human without being truly free. Engagement. On the contrary, it has always been different with dark forces. The free will of a person drawn by fascination to the dark has been added to the power of the dark by the design of its masters. That person's choices have no longer been individual, because their free will is joined with the dark's weaponry and becomes part of its grand deception. These combined free will decisions of the dark forces have been their force. The evidence of the effects of this force is the negativity that has been building up for so much on Earth. The magnitude of that combined force is far greater in intensity than the decisions of each individual light being. So, the forces of darkness have been able to continue to proliferate negativity and prevail over the free will decisions of individual light beings. Only through the removal of free will from the apex of darkness can the free will of all other souls be honored. And that is what the Creator is now instituting within this universe. That battle will no longer be unbalanced, with a huge dark force of captive beings acting in unison to conquer the individual light beings. Cleansing. The most profound effect on the degree on Earth is this. The cleansing to rid the planet of accumulated negativity will continue, but it may be much less in scope and intensity, with much less damage than was previously required. It is much more likely now that there will be several years of kinetic energy release without the catastrophic force that would have been necessary prior to the Creator's decree. We do not know when this energetic course will end, but what we do know, in addition to the increased light emitted to Earth, will also allow you to feel very encouraged, because the dark puppets are violating the Creator's cosmic law and denying, rather than honoring, the free will choice of others. Some in the top ranks of the obscurity obscurity, that is a term invented by me, have been removed from the planet, and others will soon face that fate. Some who are aware of this are taking their own lives, and many of the lower ranks are abandoning the sinking ship. Please do not give energy in your thoughts or feelings to any heinous sounding information about any plan based on dark intentions, for none of them will come to fruition. The heart is the seat of the soul. Live in the space of your heart and continue to embrace the light to bring ever closer the day when you will live freely as the divine and sovereign beings that you are. History. Our planet has since ancient times been one of the countless sites of spiritual warfare between the forces of light and dark. It has long been evident the destruction of life in numerous sinister ways. But this universal battle is not for bodies, it is for souls. Bodies are temporary, but souls are eternal. That is why capturing souls is the quest of the dark forces. and the forces of light used the high power of love to prevent it. The light has won the battle outright. This is true not only for Earth, for civilizations throughout the universe are being liberated from the secular reign of the dark forces. When the cleansing activity began in earnest half a century ago, a great intensity was building within Earth and very close to her surface. This was the work of the dark, which had gathered into a tightly knit force. It was necessary for the same light energy to be transmitted into the planet in order to effect the human cellular restructuring that is essential to fight these dark forces, for the soul of Earth was at stake. The strong presence of darkness and the critical engagement of opposing light forces were jeopardizing the cellular restructuring process. This is why it has dragged on for several decades. The process, which takes place at the cellular and soul level, where the pattern is known and agreed upon, could have completed in the blink of an eye. Instead of the ongoing battle between light and dark, has not prevented that rapid cellular change, but has also been causing tremendous pressures within the planet and on the surface. Struggle of the light. If the forces of light had not been present during all that time, the consciousness of the people of Earth could have been compromised in a climate of negativity, and perhaps even the consciousness of the planet itself, which also has free will. Without the light in constant opposition, these dark forces could have successfully waged this campaign and ended the struggle for dominance long ago. Civilization would have capitulated and the dark would now be in total control. This has fortunately not happened. That is not the case thanks to the forces of light. However, even though the dark is retreating in its final dominance, billions of other sources of negativity, such as thought forms and energy arising from intention, actions and feelings, still need to be reduced through the work of light. The pressures of negativity that have built up over thousands of years still needs to be relieved by dissipating the kinetic energy that is already at work. While the process will not result in the devastation that was once deemed necessary, there will still be planetary upheavals and changes as the kinetic energy is released. The joy of the soul in this realm will assist the Earth during the remaining cleansing activity. The forces of light that have fought valiantly for so long within the mind and the spirit of Creator God have in recent times attracted help from many distant sources. They are benevolent and highly evolved civilizations whose representatives have made themselves known to the people of Earth through their messages. External help. For decades, these benevolent entities have been helping to save Earth's life and breath. The orbital stability and composition of the planet throughout the last 50 years of struggle has been due in large part to the magnitude of their energetic existence, yet their valuable support has been almost totally unknown to the people of Earth. In recent times, your focus and presence has been required to a much greater extent than before, as the dark forces have clearly known that Earth is a prize to be won or lost, and they too are increasing their pressure. The unwavering help of these light entities has helped to preserve Earth's life and her will to endure until your planet is healthy in the times ahead. It is desired that henceforth their help be received with the cooperation of the people of Earth in openness and love. Your messages will help generate this kind of welcome, appreciation and open cooperation. The great changes will not allow millions of innocents to be captured by the dark, but souls will have their individual journeys through their karmic lessons. Souls can grow into the light by traveling in the knowledge and respect of universal brotherhood, only with awareness of the interconnectedness of all divine creations. Duality. It will unfold the enlightened truth, the duality within each soul, which is the personal struggle for balance, and the bipolar existence of the Earth, which is a planetary phenomenon. Therein lies the balance, which is the essential ingredient for reintegration with the Creator. But please do not expect a miraculous achievement overnight. Rather, it will be an unfolding of the powers of the light, which will be reinforced over the years as the changes take place. Of its own volition, light is all-encompassing, all-embracing, and all-empowering. Those who choose light do so with full awareness that their individuality always prevails in the midst of the desired unity within love and free will from top to bottom of the hierarchy of light. The opposite is true of darkness. It is based on deception, dominance at the top of, and the mental and spiritual enslavement. So, souls who have been trapped in darkness must overcome the inclinations that led them there and perpetuated their captivity. Such individuals can act only within their own understanding of its strength and power, and their free will decisions must be respected even if they continue to tend in that dark direction. Respect them as long as they do not harm any other beings. In the end, they will awaken. Spiritual clarity, which in itself is luminous, will return to them and overcome the spaces of darkness. That darkness will even dislodge itself into deep root pockets, but do not expect this to unfold immediately, for not all free will decisions of all people may be on that path of spiritual growth. Poverty. Nothing happens on earth that does not affect the universe, and abundant repay efforts are needed all over the planet. The disadvantaged people, numbering in the billions, are the most innocent, the most needy, and the most forgotten. Not all of them decided their karmic apprenticeship under conditions of poverty, hardship, pain, and hopelessness. Their suffering has been caused by the decisions of a few government or business leaders, totally enthralled by the puppet masters, and therefore the free will of those innocents has not prevailed. That control will be released from those leaders, but who is to say whether the light sent to them will be accepted or rejected? The free will that is being withdrawn in the dark dome does remain at the individual level. It cannot be denied for the few who are causing misery to the masses. The light sent to them can penetrate more clearly without undue influence from the dark master. Moreover, they cannot unite as before, and that fragmentation alone will have a wonderful growth effects for the enlightened beings. Furthermore, through divine grace, the accumulation of karma incurred by the disadvantaged masses can be used to offset the added darkness in their more obstinate pockets. Politics. There will be many changes in governments and other structures to function within an orderly civilization. This is necessary for the preservation of humankind and the planet. At one time, these systems were based on honor and integrity, and there may be a return to that state. It will be a procedure that will take a long time, as it will be voted and opposed for a time, but in the end, the light will prevail with such intensity that the dark simply cannot exist in power. Monetary systems will change. Since difficulties continually arise because of money, It should be a relief that in the not too distant future, money will not be needed at all because there will be an abundance of everything. It's not necessary, but greed has created a flood of money and the entire economic system on Earth. With its core of darkness, that system cannot withstand the coming of an ever-increasing light. It will be replaced by a light-quality system devised by light-based hearts and minds. There will be an exchange of goods, services, and mutual aid, and the pervasive light will negate the need for the principle of economic accounting that now exists. Only cooperation and solicitude for the good of all will be the basis of commerce. Mind control. Mind control which holds captive all puppets of the Dark Masters will be reduced to the extent corresponding to the reduction of that control from above. Mind control will diminish as souls begin to see that their individuality is as powerful as their unity was in the dark. Individuals will realize the restoration of their free will and will be able to voluntarily withdraw from the dark. Again, the effects will persist, as will the effects on all other insidious measures designed to control people within ignorance, deception, fear, and misery. Consciousness is being strengthened as the unity within the darkness allowed almost no consciousness to function. So, the flexibility of this layer of soul energy is returning to individuals. It will diminish all negativity as its source is eliminated and the power of attachment to negative energy is dissipated. Although negativity has accumulated over thousands of years, the reduction effects can be achieved in just a few years. Let your spirit soar in continual joy at the coming changes due to the Creator's decree. The light, which will radiate more and more glory, will embrace you with love and enlightenment during whatever spiritual and physical journey awaits you on Earth. Do you not remember that you knew all this when you volunteered to incarnate on Earth to help Gaia's humankind awaken? Now you know that the light you have been beaming to civilization has saved her soul. All beings of light throughout this universe honor you for undertaking this vital mission and have supported you with the incomparable power of unconditional love every step of your often difficult path. Peace and love. Breaking news. Wall Street hits record highs. Major New York Stock Exchange indexes rose to record highs Tuesday as a strong earnings season continued to lift confidence in stocks as investors looked ahead to the outcome of a critical Federal Reserve meeting. Wall Street banks set up preparations for Fed tapering. Wall Street banks are stepping up preparation for the Federal Reserve's withdrawal of stimulus to ensure they can handle spikes in market volatility, help clients manage their risks, and deliver profits. Oil prices fall. Oil prices fell on Wednesday as industry data pointed to a big rise in crude oil and distillated stocks in the US, the world's biggest oil consumer, as pressure mounted on OPEC to increase supply. Supply chain abuses. The head of a commission that oversees shipping said in an interview Tuesday that he suspects some ocean carriers have improperly charged importers, one of many factors driving supply chain problems. China asks its citizens to stock up on essential goods. The Chinese government urged its citizens to stock up on essential goods in case of an emergency. The announcement was made Tuesday by the Ministry of Commerce and comes amid confinements and heavy rains that have damaged crops and raised concerns about vegetable supplies. The ministry also called on local authorities to keep supply chains and prices stable. Facebook will deactivate its facial recognition system. Meta announced Tuesday that Facebook will deactivate in the coming weeks its facial recognition system that automatically identified users in photos and videos shared through this and other platforms of the company. According to the firm, this measure responds to growing public concern about the use of this type of technology. Europe. France postpones sanctions against UK over fishing licenses. The French president has announced that he is postponing sanctions against the UK over fishing licenses that were to come into force on Tuesday. The two countries are negotiating over the dispute over fishing licenses in the English Channel. 4 more British energy supplies cease operations. 4 more small British energy suppliers ceased trading, regulator Ofgem said Tuesday, bringing to 17 the tally of companies that have gone bust since the beginning of September. Spain has gas reserves for 40 days. The closure of the Maghreb-Europe gas pipeline because of the disputes between Algeria and Morocco may threaten gas supplies to Spain and above all increase its price, given the cost of liquefaction, transport and regasification. There is gas stored in the country for about 40 days, more than in other years and also more than in neighboring countries. MAPFRE, BBVA and Bankinter allow the IBEX 35 to close on the brink of 9,000 and 2,000 points. The Spanish markets opened November with new highs, especially in Europe, where the indices ended in the session with rises. The volcano's swelling effect. The Tajuya Square in the municipality of El Paso, La Palma, has become a focal point for observing the Cumbre Vieja eruption, which has a swelling effect on those who look at the volcano. Cuban opposition leader Guillermo Fariñas, winner of the European Parliament's Sakharov Prize, was arrested on Tuesday outside his home in the center of the city of Santa Clara, and the reason for his arrest is unknown until now. Other countries. Daesh claims suicide attack against the military hospital in Kabul. The Islamic State group claimed Tuesday night the suicide attack against a military hospital in Kabul, in which a few hours earlier killed at least 25 people and 40 others were wounded after several hours of clashes. Ethiopia declares national state of emergency over Tigray war. Ethiopia's central government on Tuesday declared a nationwide state of emergency over the Tigray war following the latest rebel advances in the neighboring Amhara region, an ally of the executive. Science and technology. Europe will complete its first swarm of more than 30 Galileo satellites by 2024. Second-generation Galileo satellites are in full production and the first are scheduled for launch. But first, the current constellation must be completed. Europe will put another 12 satellites into orbit over the next 3 years, which will improve navigation by adding more positioning accuracy. A mysterious cosmic object explodes continuously and scientists don't know why. Astronomers have detected a mysterious cosmic object capable of firing more than 1,600 bursts of energy in a short period of time. However, scientists do not fully understand what the object is. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.